Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Ibrahim Olukokun here again. If you're just joining for the first time, please like, share, and subscribe. Today we are diving into one of the most exciting and essential features of Figma, layout and auto layouts in Figma. If you're designing websites, apps, or anything that needs to look neat and responsive, then mastering auto layout is a game changer for you. And I promise you that by the end of this video, you will feel much more confident designing sleek, flexible layouts like a professional. So let's dive right into it. So what exactly are we covering today? First, we'll explore what auto layout is and why it is so powerful. We'll go through basic layouts, alignment, and spacing. Then we'll move on to creating more complex design using auto layouts. And this includes things like buttons, forms, grids, and even responsive layouts. And of course, like always, there will be a hands-on practice session at the end of the video where I would walk you through designing using auto layouts like we did in our last video, and you'll be able to share your work with me and I'll be able to give you some awesome feedback. So let's open our Figma basic file that we created last week and dive right into it. Alright, what is auto layout? So let's think of auto layout as a tool that helps you create dynamic frames and components that automatically adjust their size and alignment as you add or remove elements. So there's no more manually moving things around when you make changes. Auto layout does the heavy lifting for you. So every single element that you put into your frame that auto layout is applied on, it helps you to resize those layouts and make it more responsive. So auto layout is very crucial because it makes your designs more flexible and responsive. Whether you are designing for mobile, tablet, or desktop, auto layout ensures that your designs adapt seamlessly to different screen sizes. And this is exactly what every modern UI UX designer needs. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So remember last week, go onto your toolbar at the top, click on frame or click on F. On your right panel, you see your desktop, click on it. So we have a blank frame here. So when you click on that on your frame, you go onto your right panel and then you will see auto layout on this properties panel. Click on that plus button to add auto layout to your panel. Now, on this other side, you will see the way your auto layout would function. It turns your frame automatically into auto layout, and anything you put inside this frame will follow the rules you set for this alignment, direction, and spacing. So whether you want it to align to center, middle, or top, or you want it to align vertically, horizontally, or to wrap, every single condition that you want your auto layout to work, it will be set in this panel here. So it makes your work easier. Let us add a shape inside our auto layout frame here. So let's bring out a shape. Click on your shape tool here at the top, drag it out. Let's give it a size of 300 by 300. Okay, now let us drag this our shape inside our frame. Now you can see that the moment I drag my shape inside the frame, it automatically sets itself to the middle. And that is because if you check our alignment section here under auto layout, we've set it to align to middle. If we change it to align to top, you can see that it changes to align to top. If you change it to align to the bottom, it aligns to the bottom. So it depends on how you want your auto layout to function with your elements. So let's click to align to the center. Also, when you click on this shape tool and then you duplicate it, we've added a spacing of 32. Now, this is aligning itself horizontally. We want it to align vertically. Just click on this and it automatically aligns itself automatically to vertical. So if you click on wrap also, by the time you adjust this, you can see that it is changing also. And this helps when you're designing a website that you've already decided how you want it to function. By just adding auto layout to it, you can decide how you want the particular page to show on either desktop or mobile. This is very helpful. Auto layout also doesn't just work on just the frame alone. It also works on the element itself. Like I did last week when I applied auto layout to this particular element, we can also add auto layout to singular elements in a frame itself and also on the frame itself. So that makes your work easier and easy to follow. So this will save you a lot of time later when you are tweaking or adjusting your designs. So let's take a common example here, and that is an example of a button. I'm going to quickly create a button using auto layout. So first, let's type some text. Let's say get started. Okay, get started. Let's zoom right into this. And then let's click on the text and apply Shift A, which is our auto layout. The text is automatically padded to by 10, but we can also change or tweak the padding that we want for this text by changing it to, let's say, 12, 24, and then you can change it to this to 12 also. You can add field color into this. Let's pick any color that we want right into it, and then we can change the corner radius of this to, let's say, 24, and then we can change the text in here to bold or medium. You can see get started. We can also duplicate this by clicking on Ctrl D here and change this to sign up for free. So you can see the benefit of auto layout is that auto layout saves you stress of having to create each button and adding its own separate pattern to it. Because we have already set this first button to have a padding of 24, it automatically responds in the same way here too. So whatever it is that we are putting here, the auto layout makes our button to respond in the same vein. That means that 24 will be here, 24 will be here, 12 will be here, 12 will be here. Alright, now that we have covered the basics, let's level up and look at grids and responsive layout. So grids are essential for ensuring consistency in your designs. So whether you're working on a mobile app or a web design, grids help you maintain balance and structure. Let us open our frame back. Let's go back to our frame. I want to delete some of these elements. Let's go back to our frame. And to apply a grid, all we have to do is go onto your properties panel, click on your plus icon on layout grid. So you can see that we have this grid that Figma automatically puts in by itself. Now, the way UI UX work is that screen has its own specified grid and layout that you work with, and these you can find this in material design. If we have a live session, we can go deep into this with material design. You can see the layout, but essentially when you are designing on mobile, most people use 4 columns. When you're designing on desktop, people use 12 columns. It depends on how you want to set your own. So let's go to our layout grid and click on that. I want to set my column to 12, count column to 12. I want to put this at a stretch. Let's put a margin of 96, okay, and let's put the gutter at 20, 24. I want to put it at 24. So your gutter is the space between each of these columns. You can also change the color of this grid. Let us apply it to be a little bit of this color so that it doesn't affect our design. So another good thing is that you can add another layout to this your frame. Click on this plus button, click on this, and then you can go on to rows. Let's give it a count of 2000. This will stretch across all our pages, and I want it to I want to put it at the center. Let us put the gutter to 0 so that that would work for me. Now, this would help me to make my design consistent. Grids work hand in hand with auto layouts and to give your design a professional feel. So now that we've set up our layouts, every other thing that we want to be doing with our design would be much more flexible and easy for us to do. For example, let us bring out a frame here and then we want to add it into our desktop frame. Yeah. So if we add it into our desktop frame and I want it to have these 4 columns. Yeah. Let's zoom right into it. Zoom right into it. I want it to have 4 columns. You can see this. You can see this also. It's giving it 425. Now, this is my frame. I want to add auto layout to the frame. I want to add a fill to it so that we can see what that frame looks like. Let's give it this yellow frame. Now we can duplicate this now. Let's duplicate this our shape here and then duplicate this. You can see that our shape now has 4 rows. That means that our shape will have the same size all throughout and it has the same amount of spacing, which will be 32. But if you check, because we are adding 32 here, Very good. Because you added 32 here, the space between these shapes will not correspond to the size here. Now, I want it to be 24 because I've already set my gutter to 24. So let me adjust the spacing between these to 24. Let's see, 24. And then you see that our spacing here is 24, our spacing here is 24. And then our design makes much more sense with making it look neat, and then it looks good also. So you can see that it is using the same 24 grid because we've set it to work at 24. All right, now that we have understood the fundamentals, let us build something. Maybe we can use this file that we worked on in our last video. If you have not watched my last video, please go and watch this. I will create this, but I'll also be creating it from scratch all over again so that we can have a better understanding for those that are just watching this video only. So let us zoom out. We want to click on our texts here. Our text is, let us first of all create all our elements. Yeah, go to the top right here, click on T, type our text, your one way. I know you guys cannot see this, let me just zoom it right into it. So we want to write your one way to becoming a UI UX designer, your one way to become a UI UX designer. Let's see, designer, and then you want to click outside, shift A to get an auto layout on it. We want to remove all the padding surrounding it, 0 and 0, and then we want to make sure that our text here has medium. Let me go and see what we have used in our last design. We used interbold 64, and then we used intermediate 24 here, so we're using interbold 64. So we want to use interbold 64, and then want to use interbold 24. So this is saying start your design journey here. Start your design journey here. Click on auto layout, remove the padding. Let's remove the padding here, and then click on these elements. Click on this element also, add shift A, that will give you auto layout. The spacing here is 149. I want to reduce it to 24. I want to make sure that my elements respond to the auto layouts. So I want to make sure that everything here is constrained to fill container. Let's see, fill container. I want to make sure that this is filling container also. Okay, I want to make sure that the outer one is also filling container, and this one also is fill container. Okay, now I can adjust my frame for it to function the way I want it to function. All right. Okay, so now that we have created these our text elements, we want to create our button also. Remember, I just showed you guys how to create a button. Create a text that says get started, for instance. Get started. See, and then you want to click outside on your canvas. Click on this, shift A. We want to add a padding of 24, and then 12 at the top here, and then we want to give it a corner radius of 16. Okay, we want to give it a feel of red like we did the last time in our class. Let's put our red there, and then that works. Okay, now we want to add auto layout to this element and this element together. We'll click on this. We'll also go down our shift key, click on this also, and then we'll click on shift A. We can adjust the space here to, let's say, 64 depending on us. I just personally like working on 8 pixel grid or 4 pixel grid, so that makes my life easier. All right, now we also added a design element here if you remember, so let's bring that out also. Let's copy it, and then we can add that over here. Add this element, or this one that we've added already. Click on it, hold down your shift, and add this element also. Okay, cool. We want to adjust the spacing here also to, let's say, 48. That depends totally on us, or maybe 64 also. Okay, that's good. And then we want to bring out a logo. Let us duplicate it outside. Please and please, guys, I want you also to practice on your own. Test something different out. This is just for practice. By the time we do more videos and we do more sessions, we're able to cover in depth, much more complex design than this. So let's click on this our logo, and let's click on this also. Shift A, add it, and then I want to increase this to 180. Okay, all right. So now I want to create a frame just to test out what we have done here. I want to go onto my frame at the top here, click on frame, bring out your desktop. Okay, bringing out the desktop. So the first thing I want to do whenever I want to work, especially what I want to do, is I always create my layout first. So let us create our layout. After you have created all your elements, sometimes I decide to create my elements, sometimes I decide to do my layout, but I like doing my layout first. So let's do my layout. I'll go on to my layout grid here, click on the plus, so this it brings out this, set up my columns, count it to 12, okay, and then I want to add a gutter of 24 to 8. I told you guys we can go on the live session and go more in detail on how to choose your sizes. So, but for this purpose of these classes, I'm teaching you how to do this because I want you to start designing ASAP. So I want to add a margin of 96. Okay, and this is 24. I want to change the color to B8, B8, B8. I guess, yeah, that work. And then we'll click on plus again to add a row grid. So let's click that row. I want it to be 24. I want it to stretch to center. And I want it to have that color. Let's have a zero gutter. Okay, and that should work. So now let us make our frame into auto layout. Remember, go onto your properties panel, click on plus to add auto layout to it. I want it to set it to middle, align center, and then I want it to wrap. Okay. Now let us drag this into it. So let us change the color of our text here to black. Let us see the text. Let's change it to black. To black. All right, and then we want to change this one also to black. Let's change this to black also. All right, we are good. Now all our elements are aligned to the center. You can see this aligned to the center. So now I want to add another element inside of this frame that we want it to be beside this auto layout. So we want to add this image into our frame. We'll just drag it inside the frame here. Now you can see that the moment that we dragged our image into this frame, the image became the one that is on the left side while all our elements are on the right side. So depending on how we want it to function, we can totally just click on the frame, click on our element, click on the right or left arrow on how you want it to be. I want my headline and subheading to be on the left. I'll click the left arrow, or you can just go onto your layers panel on the left and then adjust it by yourself. You want to drag this up and then it automatically shift to the left side. So now if you remember, we added a margin of 96 to our frame here, and our elements are still going outside that margin. That is because on that frame, we've not added a padding of 96 also to that frame to constrain whatever elements that we put inside of that frame not to go outside of the alignments that we have set for it. So let us click on our frame, click on your frame, go onto the right properties panel, and let's change our horizontal padding to 96. Now, because we have set our auto layout to function as a wrap, auto layout automatically sense that you are telling him to wrap those elements together. Let us change that and then apply and change it to horizontal. Now you can see this, yeah? If you change it to vertical, you can see that it adjusts itself to vertical also. This will make much more sense when you are working on a mobile or tablet also. So it makes it much more functional. So let's go back to this. We want to put it here. This we want to put the original pattern at 96. It is still not fixing inside of that or inside of that frame. What we want to do is so now what you would do is that we'll click on this our auto layout frame auto layout element, and then we'll click on this our image also. We'll now change it to fill inside of that frame. So let us change this from fixed to fill. So now our frame is working alongside our grid. Now I want this to have a spacing of 24. Remember, 24. All these have a spacing of 24. So that means that this having a spacing of 24 means that my text is using 6 of these columns on the left, while this image itself is also using 6 of this column on the right, making your design visually balanced. All right. So now let us change this to wrap. By the time you change it to wrap and then you adjust this size of this, it automatically constrain itself. It automatically constrain itself. So let's say this is a tablet screen, our home page will show like this. Let's say it is on desktop, it continues to show like this. So it depends on how we decide that to be. We can also decide for it to go like this, let's say on mobile, and then you can see if you drag this down a little bit, you can see it's working in the same vein for mobile. And this is one of the reasons why auto layout makes your work very easy and smooth. So imagine you're designing like a news article or a news article website. Auto layout can easily help you work around this. You meant to create all your elements, add your elements, your image, and then your constraints work. It works like that depending on the screen size that you're working on. Let's go back to what we are designing. Yeah, Control Z. Let's see. And then we'll drag our frame out here, and then we want it to wrap here. So this is working this way. I like that. So let's say we've created this for our desktop, and then we also want to replicate this for our tablet, which might be 768 by 1024. Let us duplicate this, and then we want it to function for 768 by 1024. Now you can see that it automatically resizes itself, but maybe I personally just don't want it to function like this. Another thing I can do is change the behavior of the auto layout by changing it to vertical. So change it to vertical. This way, I can have my text show like this, which makes it look more visually appealing. If I add it like this, another thing I can do is I can change the spacing between these to make it look more visually good. So let's say I change this to 64, and then this works, and then I can make this work like this. So let's say I want to create this frame for mobile also. I'll duplicate this. Remember I told you guys that the layout for mobile and desktop is way different from each other. So what we want to do is let us delete the layout grid that we had for this, and then add a new layout that works for mobile, which is changing the columns to 4, count 4, and then we had a total of 24 to 8. Let us give it a margin of 24 also, and then I want to change the frame size to actually 320. Okay, that way it's easier. And then I want to reduce the padding to 24. Okay, I want to reduce the size of this because for mobile your text cannot be as big like that, so let us change it to 24. I want to change this also to 12. Okay, I want to change this also to 12, and then I want to change my padding to 24 actually. Okay, good. So now I want to change the size of this spacing between these also from 24 to maybe 48. Okay, let's change all of that. And this is because the way Elements works on desktop and mobile is way different. Okay, so let us change this also to 48 also. Also, let us ensure that our image also is flexible. It is fixed here, so it will not work correctly. Let us change it to fill container, so that by the time we are resizing our frame, it would adjust to it also. Let us resize it. You can see that the image is adjusting by itself. And then so let's say 320 by 640. So then I want to reduce the size of this logo to, let's say, 24. Then I want to change the vertical padding to, let's say, 24, and you have your mobile screen right here. So now if you zoom out, you can see the way our hero page would function. So depending on the screen size of the desktop, our design will adjust to that screen size. So, and for tablet also, it will do the same thing, where it will adjust by itself depending on how we want it to work on tablet.
And also you can adjust the size of our mobile also to see how that one will work. Also you can see that, and that's how you design using auto layout. And also we can change the size of our button from 24 to, let's say, 12. All these things you can set it as components instead. Also, maybe when we get to that we'll talk about it. So yeah, this way you have your mobile working as mobile. Let us rename it to mobile. Let us rename this also to tablet, and let us keep that one as a desktop. Now you can see the way your home page will look like either when you are on desktop, when you are on tablet, and when you are on mobile. Now our frame can work depending on the size of our desktop that we are on. So this is for a 1440 by 1024 frame size. So let's say we are on a bigger screen, you can see that our text can easily adjust itself to that particular bigger frame. And then we can go back. If it's on a tablet also, it depends on the size of that tablet. We can have our text and elements adjust depending on that particular tablet that we are using. And if it's on mobile, our text also can also adjust depending on the mobile phone that we're using. That makes our work very easy to do and makes your design process way more easier. I want you guys to also do the same thing. Practice with this. Send me what you have done. Make sure that your design is responsive. Make sure that it is responsive. Make sure that it is responsive. Please and please. And if you face any problem, please let me know. Now, there are various mistakes that you can make when you are working with auto layouts and layouts. First, always remember to check your alignment settings. Sometimes your elements might not align as expected because of some hidden margins or incorrect direction setting. So you have to be zooming into your design. So that's why you see designers zooming into their work, trying to see if their work align and perfect and there is no mistake here. Another thing to watch out for is overcomplicating your layers. Make sure to keep your layers organized so that you don't lose track of what is happening inside your frame. You can see there that our layers are well organized. Sometimes when you're designing, some people want to rename their work, or you might choose not to rename and just work like this. But make sure that your work is well organized and easy for you to follow.
And that's it for today. Deep dive into layout and auto layout in Figma. I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful and are much more feeling confident about using auto layout in your own designs. Don't forget to try out and practice the exercise and share your work with the group to get some feedback. It's an amazing way to grow as a designer. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to share and subscribe to the channel for more tutorials like this every week. Because right now I'm enjoying it. So let's keep designing and let's grow together. I'll see you all in my next video. Happy designing.